Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another stream. Look, it's going to be a crazy stream. I got to be honest. We got some wild stuff to get into. I have to talk about the new episode of The Mandalorian. Why I love this episode. But we're obviously going to have to talk about how many of you guys hate it, how it's essentially an Andor episode, all of this. We'll get into it. But I love the episode. But I'm also done covering The Mandalorian. What? I know, it's crazy. Look, it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy couple of days. I got to be honest with you. The last time we talked, well, we had a Nerdvenger stream yesterday, but the last time we were live was on Monday. And oh, man, has a lot of stuff happened since Monday. Crazy reports out there. We haven't even talked publicly about the Reddit Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit, a massive Reddit, huge Reddit, gone, blinked out. We did a video talking about it yesterday, but it's still crazy. Freaking James Gunn confirms that he's doing the Superman thing, and he had this really touching story about his father, and of course, like, obviously, it's horrible, sad, really touching. And I guess it makes it so I can't criticize the fact that he just hired himself for $1 million gig to do a job that he shouldn't do. So we'll probably just move past that one really fucking quickly. Thanks a lot, you 4D chess motherfucker! We got some of the numbers in for The Mandalorian, episode 1 of season 3. And they're lower than season 2, lower than a lot of stuff. We got to get into that. What the hell is going on with all of that? So there's a lot of stuff that we got to get into. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a good day. So where should we start? Should we start with the Mando thing as far as breaking down and reviewing the episode? And again, why I loved it, why everybody who didn't is wrong. Like, we're going to get into all that, okay? But maybe I should just start with how my day went trying to edit this stupid Mando video breakdown and why I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just not going to do it anymore, dude. Like, normally with Disney and with Star Wars, although I have had issues in the past with copywritten stuff. So essentially what's happening right here is this, guys. Disney or some company that Disney hires or works with has all of these like bots out there online. And these bots are there to do what are called content claim, content claim bullshit. And they're really there, I think, like the good faith argument of it is they're there to stop just straight up pirating, straight up, restreaming of anything like that. And they're there to stop me from just uploading that episode of The Mandalorian so that people can just watch it on YouTube, right? Makes sense. But there's another thing that happens, especially when an episode drops. So right now, with episode 3 kind of just premiering, myself, Paul from Heavy Spoilers, and I'm sure many other YouTubers are having crazy issues. Like, I'm talking fucking crazy issues trying to publish a breakdown that has clips of the episode, right? Like, basically, what happened was the first one got blocked, the first, like, breakdown that we did, and I was like, okay, I'll try it again. I look at what YouTube is telling me, according to the claim from, I think it's Disney. Let me actually just look it up, who the actual company is that claimed it, because I want to, like, explain this thoroughly. Does it not say? Does it not say the company? I think it usually says the company. Maybe I just can't find it right now. Regardless, they tell me a section of it. Yeah, maybe here's what it is. Disney Enterprise One. So it's literally either it is a Disney company subsidiary company, or it's like, again, it's something that's linked to them. So Disney Enterprises won. And so the claim tells me, okay, you have this section of the video. It was like a 30-second thing, and they say, yeah, this is a content claim ID. This is the actual show. You can't, like, have that on there, okay? By the way, I still think it's bullshit because it's commentary. It should be covered under fair use. But I'm like, whatever. Like, they're just trying to prevent people from, putting it out there, just restreaming it. So I go back in and I edit the part of the video that they claimed, right? Disney Enterprise 1, boom, claim, here. I'm like, okay, no worries, boom, I'll change it. Then they literally claim a different part of the video. And this happened 3 times, and so basically I felt like after the second one, if it was going to happen again, I was just not going to do it. And to be honest with you, like, our Mandalorian 3 content so far has not really, like, last week's video did, like, decent. But it hasn't really performed to the level of, like, where a lot of our Marvel's videos are at, and where, like, even though Marvel itself also having issues, it's still really exciting and interesting to, like, speculate, rumor, leak, this, that, second and the third. If I would have just spent today working on the other 2 really cool videos that I had planned, it would have been so much better of a usage of my time, because, again, I spent all day, and even if I were to get this video actually uploaded, it would just take forever. Like, it would take hours. Maybe I'd have to even go in and, like, limit the clips to just, like, a second each and, like, obscure them. Like, Paul was telling me, like, he flipped his, put the gamma up, like, did all this crazy shit, and I'm just like, bro, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not doing it, man. Especially because on the other side of it, the show's not, so far, getting even the viewership that it got last season. And I haven't personally seen our videos really, really pop off. So it's such a weird place to be in, because here's the thing. I love this season of The Mandalorian. Love it. I thought this particular episode was like what Andor was trying to be, but to me, still felt very Star Wars and had some really interesting ideas and things to explore. I think it's great, but holy shit, dude. Like, it's just not worth it to fight against that whole bull crappery, man, especially when the videos themselves don't even perform like that. It's like wild. So I'm just not gonna force it anymore. It's like, fine, I'll talk about it on stream, I'll talk about it on Nerd Theory, and I'll still enjoy the show, but I'll just wake up and work on other stuff, other videos, comics, etc. Okay. Now, let's shake it out. Let's find our center, realign our chi, and let's talk some Star Wars that all of you guys probably hated. Now, I want to start with where we usually start. Give me your score for this episode of The Mandalorian out of 10. What has your score been for this episode? Oh, boy. Okay, so let's see here. We've got a couple of high ones. We got a couple low ones. 4s, 5s, 8s, 8s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 6, 8, 4. 6s, some 6s, 5s, 0. What? Interesting. Okay. So there seems to be a lot of, like, mid and high. I still think it's getting a lot of high scores from you guys, but frankly, even compared to some of the other episodes that we've done, I do see more mid-range scores in the chat compared to where we are normally at. So, man, it really is a thing that a lot of people did not like, that massive stretch of episode on Coruscant with Dr. Pershing. That kind of seems to be the thing for me. Like, if you liked that shit, you liked this episode. But if you didn't like that shit, which I guess kind of makes sense because it's like the vast majority of the episode, then yeah, you probably didn't like it. I'm kind of seeing, and dude, like, okay, let's just stay on target. I am certainly seeing a lot more negativity towards this episode on Twitter, right? Like, even when because I didn't stay up for the watch, but by the way, sleep was great. Actually, getting sleep was fantastic. Woke up, watched the episode, loved it, and was like tweeting about it. And then I saw on Twitter like a lot of people not only shocked that I liked the episode, but very much did not like the episode. So I saw a lot more negativity on this episode than I've seen before. And I don't know, man. For me, like, you guys always know, like, I just got to tell you how I see it, right? And the way that I took in the episode, the way I felt about it. And I felt like it was great. I felt like the episode, taking its time with Dr. Pershing, again, to me, doing a lot of what Andor was doing, but to me, in a more Star Wars authentic way. Like, first of all, you've actually got, like, aliens. I thought Coruscant was interesting. I liked the different parts of it. I think it looked more colorful than it did in Andor. It looked very, like, dreary and, desaturated in Andor. So, to me, it feels more like the actual Coruscant within Star Wars. And the exploration of all those ideas through the lens of Pershing was interesting. And I really enjoyed the droid scene that kind of anchors that whole arc, where he's sitting there like having this therapy session with that droid. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, chat. I know there's probably a couple of sweaties in here. That feels similar to something that was in THX 1138, where there's like a check-in kind of thing between the humans and like an automated machine. I know it's something that's in the new Blade Runner movie. It's something that's replicated in what's the crazy Christian Bale gun fu movie? Equilibrium, I think. Yeah. So I love that kind of idea. I really liked it as a framing device where you could see Pershing begin to sort of become disillusioned to the New Republic. That's what it is. The other thing that was really interesting, I felt, personally for me, I felt more evil intention in these scenes than I like ever did in Andor. I know there were like some shots and some parts of Andor where it's meant to really imply this like crazy pressure and like fear on Coruscant with Mon Mothma, etc. I didn't pick up on like any of that. For me personally, it felt like while they're all well acted scenes, there wasn't that like tension underneath it. To me, this was like, oh, happy-go-lucky adventures with communications officer crazy lady and Pershing, but the whole time it felt off. Like there was something off about it. They actually play Snoke's theme a lot in the episode under different moments, even when they're celebrating. Like out in the thing when they're getting their like glow-in-the-dark ice cream bullshit. Like to me, this episode established this like weird, like evil behind the scenes. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is it's not so direct that I even right now could tell you I know exactly what's going on. I mean, I think we all think that the communications officer, what's her name again? I totally blanking on her name. But it feels to me like she's obviously still working for Gideon. But then the question becomes, are all of the police working for Gideon? Ela Kane? Yeah. So is she like that was confusing to me because at the end when he gets arrested, she takes the stuff that he got. None of the officers say a thing, dude. And to me, why would you do all that she did without a purpose? The purpose is to get the equipment that he needed to complete his research. She's probably going to take it then so that Gideon or somebody on Camino can do more of it. So, but there's enough like kind of mystery around the whole thing because it kind of low key seems like, and by the way, I would love for this to actually be the way that it was, is that they might not have even fired, like those officers, some of those officers could have been, and I don't think this would work in the timing because they seemed younger, right? But imagine those officers or even their families having been loyal servants of the Republic, and then loyal servants of the Empire, and now loyal servants of the New Republic. What I'm saying is, like, they're the same fucking people. And just the sort of subtleties of the rules for them has changed slightly. Not even that much, because Palpatine was doing evil shit in the Republic. Like, the Republic was evil. Then the Empire was evil. And seemingly now, the New Republic is, if not evil, pretty lenient and susceptible to evil. Right? So I kind of love that idea. I think that's really cool, and a really cool exploration of, you know, the actual politics of Star Wars. Because I think a lot of the actual politics of Star Wars, everybody gets in this fucking argument about, like, Star Wars isn't political, fuck you, you know? But the thing is, of course Star Wars is political. The difference is, though, and we just watched some crazy Clone Wars, George, Dave stuff from back in the day. The old political Star Wars used to think about corruption within the Republic, weird things that leaders would do. Like, I would argue, like, more actual, like, not bullshit, but like actual populist ideas. And like sort of democratic vigilance, I think, was more preaching the politics of Clone Wars, prequels, and even the OT. Now it's like different. It's like more modern politics. It's fluff politics, theater politics, identity politics, like, you know, bullshit politics, right? So I don't know, man. I really did feel like this episode did some really cool shit. Like stuff that I'm genuinely excited to think about, excited to see how it resolves. It's fucking interesting. Like, it's cool. Having said that, as I was thinking about people's criticisms of the show, right, and trying to, like, see it their way and try to, like, see where they'd be coming from, man, The Mandalorian's kind of a weird show. Like, you basically get, at the start of this season, a, like, really short but crazy, like, intro thing. You get a second episode that, I don't know, it's like quest, but quest completed really quickly, moving on to the next thing, kind of a vibe. And then in episode 3, you get that quest broken up and then wedged in between it a almost singular episode of television that, with great detail, explains what's going on with fucking Dr. Pershing. I mean, I do have to admit, if you're just, like, watching, like, normal-ass TV, where they don't undo the ending of a second season in a spin-off show and then try to act like it didn't happen. Like I get it. Like, if I was just, like, because I'm like a big sweaty Star Wars nerd. You know what I mean? Like, I love when Star Wars is good. I love it more than anything. You know. But you gotta admit, some weird moves. And if the idea is to get people more and more excited as the show goes on, how the fuck are you going to be like, yeah, the Dr. Pershing episode, it was so cool. I mean, it was cool. But, like, you feel me, right? You get where I'm coming from. Like, how are you supposed to go? I remember telling my homies about the Boba episode in season 2 and being like, no, fuck all that. Like, you got to watch this. And them sitting back and then watching it and be like, dude, he was like John Wick. That was really cool. Like, kind of undeniably dope shit. The stuff that wins over normies and more casual people. This is the reason that Andor didn't work, by the way. Because they tried to make this hyper-political, cerebral, slow-burn character show from a franchise that's known for space wizards and Buck Rogers style adventures. It just doesn't fit together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of these things is not the other. So, all in all, maybe this episode could have cut down on the Pershing shit a little bit and ramped up the adventure shit, because all in all, we really only needed, right? And again, I love this episode, so shut your mouth, person that's about to complain. But maybe we didn't need the whole 40-minute thing with him. Maybe we just needed his intro, his research, and then that's it, really. You know, like, what was he doing? Oh, that's interesting. Maybe Snoke's gonna grab. You know, that's kind of it. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Weird place. I'm at a weird place with the episode because I loved the episode, but also wish Mando was popping for everyone. You know what I mean? Wish Mando was popping for everyone, and wish that it was performing better, which maybe it will. By the way, let's just talk about the numbers before we get into some other stories, and we'll of course get into Q&A about all this stuff too. Let's talk about the numbers, okay? So I first saw this pop up on the Wrap. I'll bring this up for you guys. Give me a second here. What is happening here? Why is this? Oh, did this? Fixed it. Okay, so by the way, I find this to be kind of interesting and hilarious. The Wrap damn sure tried to give this a very positive spin, but I saw some people that are usually incredibly positive about stuff, you know, kind of just seeing it for what it was and being like, damn, like, that's not good. Anyway, they say Mandalorian gives Disney a win and starves off a Netflix sweep. Season 3 premiere of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, the live-action Star Wars show that played a key role in the service's 2019 launch, jumped through hyperspace to the top charts. The latest Wrap report, which highlights viewership trends collected from Samba TV. Panel of more than 3 million, blah, 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 blah. As long as the new season is less of a standout measured against recent Disney Plus releases. A gap of more than 2 years after the second season finale may have allowed some Star Wars fatigue to settle in. The episode outpaced the premieres of Star Wars spin-off Andor by nearly 50% in viewership, but still fell short of Loki, Obi-Wan Kenobi, audiences by double digits, trailing them by 35% and 28% respectively. The interconnected spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett, barely edged out The Mandalorian by 2%. So it's really, really close between those two, but it didn't beat Book of Boba. Book of Boba beat it. You could say it tied, fine, but it didn't beat The Book of Boba Fett. Okay? So I think another thing that's left out of this report is that according to Samba, the premiere of season 2 was like 2 million. So it's down like 20-30% from its viewership of season 2 for the first episode. Now, by the way, I actually kind of called that, and I think even on some of the nerd theories I said, like, man, what if it comes in like, and maybe you guys can even find this and clip it out and make me look real cool. But I think I even said stuff like, where I was like, what if it comes in like 30% lower than season 2? You know? So definitely kind of wild. Like, definitely kind of crazy. And I've seen a bunch of different takes on it. Like, I think even on the post I made, I asked people to give their thoughts, right? So we can go over some of them. Okay. So this guy says, normal people give up watching after so many L's. Hopefully Mando will prove that Star Wars can still come back. And I think the numbers will go up again after this first semester with many W's. Mando, Bad Batch, and Ahsoka. That's true. That's true, actually, right? So this guy says, Samba is a very niche metric. While some 50-60 million smartphones and the TV have the capacity of using Samba metric, mostly on Android, only about 3 million units actually have Samba activated. So that's true, but there's two problems with this, right? Two problems with this. Number one, you're still comparing the Samba data from now to the Samba data from before. Either way, if it's doing better, it should go up. So the ratios are still the fucking same. The second reason this argument doesn't really hold any water is that statistically speaking, I believe after you get to about 5,000 entries, it's actually like kind of weirdly close to like general pop and like what everybody would do. It's weird how statistics work, but as long as the sampling size itself isn't like super restricted, you get to about 5,000 entries, you got a pretty fucking good idea of what's actually going on, right? So I get that argument. I just don't think it's a good one. I think it lines up perfectly with what I'm noticing from people on here and friends. Hell, I even haven't watched both episodes and regret wasting my time afterwards. So many people I know have told me to just let them know if it gets good and they'll pick it back up. That's wild. I do wonder if you guys, because some of y'all have normie friends. Are your normie friends watching Mando? Are y'all normie friends watching Mando? What? No? Yes, a couple yeses. Okay. Mine are. What the fuck happened? Did we forget when Mando season 2 was like a fucking cultural phenomenon? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you a couple questions here, actually. Let's end this poll. Let's do another poll. Do you think these numbers will grow to match or exceed Mando 2? This is kind of like the question, I think. One word, Kenobi. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll talk some Kenobi. Most of my friends cancel their Disney Plus. Damn. Wow. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. 60% of you guys say no. Maybe I'm just like a hopeless romantic for this show and I want it to fucking crush, but I think it could. I still, and honestly, like even, bias aside, I still think it could. It's going to depend, though. I mean, to be honest with you, as much as I love this episode, there's no way the fucking Dr. Pershing episode is gonna make waves. Like, there's no way this episode's going to be the thing that's like, oh, 1 million plus people are not watching this. Maybe they will now. Like, that feels crazy. But as long as it starts to bop, I still think it's a really enjoyable ride. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm really interested. This is such a weird time in entertainment and following like Disney stuff in general. It's kind of like been a weird time. But yeah, with Star Wars specifically, it's just damn, bro. Like I'm kind of confused, to be honest with you. Kind of confused. And we'll see. We'll see how the numbers go because it is possible that the premiere was just mismarketed. Like I've seen a lot of people talk about that too, where they're like, dude, people don't even know it's out, But like ultimately that's still kind of like fucking on Disney, Yeah, I really do wonder because Kenobi to me, like, I don't know, man. I thought Kenobi was pretty fucking bad, obviously. But that last episode was like kind of decent and actually had some really great moments. So my thoughts on Kenobi was that like, yeah, it definitely upset some people. I think it made some major waves in the fandom, the Reva thing, of course. But I ultimately like walked away from that thinking like, dude, wow, they saved themselves from massive damage by having a pretty good last episode, right? the Andor numbers are really wild too, because they're really, really bad. And of course, like Mando 3 more than doubling or doubling Andor's numbers are pretty crazy as well. It indicates that, like, at the very least, like, Mando is still holding in those pretty high numbers, but, like, to come in under your season 2, to come in under Kenobi, to come in tied and a little bit under Book of Boba Fett is pretty wild, dude. That's pretty wild. So, we'll see. Let me ask you guys this. What do you think the problem is? You know, just put it into the chat. You know, I'm gonna just kind of see what you guys think. Marketing fatigue. There was hype before Book of Boba Fett episode 1. That's true, there was. Lazy writing. KK's the problem. Gotta be because drove people away. Kenobi. Yeah, don't think about it. Too many L's in a row. The community. Yeah, interesting take. Too many bad shows in a row and terrible marketing. It's you, Josh. Hey, don't say that. Bro, I love this show. I was shocked at how, like, because I, like, and to be honest with you, like, I shouldn't have been that shocked because, like, I haven't really been covering Star Wars and we've been just going crazy on Marvel. But I was shocked that our first video did not, like, do well at all. The stream was good, but it didn't really seem like there was interest there, right? I've already stopped doing watch parties for it because I was like, dude, there's just not, like, there's not a ton of people staying up to watch the show. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy to go from where we were at 2 years ago when, like, The Mandalorian was so big and just so hype. And, like, I just remember doing the videos, doing the streams, the nerd theories. The energy was crazy, dude. People were just having a blast and, like, everybody was celebrating. And then, you know, to go from that to now is really weird, bro. It's a weird feeling, you know? So let's talk for a second here because I saw somebody bring it up and I wanted to get into this anyway. Let's talk a little bit about the spoilers subreddit. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's crazy shit, huh? So I did a video covering this, but I'm assuming a lot of you guys still don't necessarily know what's going on. Throw a 1 into the chat if you have no idea what I'm talking about. With Marvel suing Reddit and Google. Okay, so a couple people don't know. Mythosaur? What? You want me to talk about the Mythosaur? Look, we can get back into all Mando talk later on in the episode. For now, I'm just going to follow this ADD chaotic energy to wherever it goes. Okay. And right now, it's going to fucking what, Marvel? Does anybody think this is a good look for Marvel Studios? I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a stack. Do you think this is a good look for Marvel Studios? Let me tell you what happened. One of the biggest subreddits on the planet. Talking about 900,000 followers. Millions of people that visited the subreddit. Okay? Millions of people that visited the subreddit. Marvel sues Google, and they either sued or subpoenaed, which I guess maybe are the same thing. I'm not a legal Daredevil, She-Hulk, Twerking expert, okay? But I know that the Reddit was subpoenaed because they wanted to get the identity of the moderation team and the people that were leaking the Ant-Man and the Wasp script, or like the subtitles, okay? So in response to this, right, like, because I saw all these articles start to pop up, I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Also, I was kind of quietly like, thank God I never joined that moderation team, because there was like a moment where I almost like really, you know, but I was like, whoa, thank God I didn't do that. So the response, they put out a statement where they're like, this might be the end, okay? And they talk a little bit about the history. They talk about the mouse, and they're like, dude, you just don't win around the mouse. We're going to private the subreddit, and we're all gone. Okay? Now, the subreddit may come back in some way, shape, or form, but the 900,000 follower subreddit probably will never come back. This, again, was one of the biggest subreddits ever. For comparison, I believe the Star Wars leak subreddit has like 400,000, 300,000 or something like that. Let me check that out. It was like 2 to 3 times bigger than the Star Wars leaks. 400K, so about double. But anyway, so they basically pull the plug on this. Now, the story, the headlines, the narrative is that Marvel Studios sued to find the identity of Redditors and people that leaked the script for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which, by the way, was a crazy leak. Like, they should not have done that. That shit was wild, right? And let me just say, too, before I, like, try to, like, really explain why I think this is such a bad look for Marvel, let me just also say, really not going to affect me at all. Really not going to affect me at all. Leaks, rumors are still abound. A lot of these people have jumped past Reddit and now have their own Twitter following. At the end of the day, the Reddit was really just an aggregate of all the leaks and things that were already out there. So it's not even really going to change that much, I don't think, at least, right? But the reason I think it looks bad is because, again, you're talking about a Reddit with at least 1 million people. So let's just say that's like 1 million fans, because you don't go to a Marvel's leak subreddit unless you're enough of a fan of Marvel to go onto this thing and find, like, Reddit in and of itself is weird and nerdy. Like, to navigate Reddit, like, you're already kind of a nerd. But to navigate Reddit and to go to the leak Reddit and be in that community, like, dude, you're full on sweaty, like, headband needed, fucking sweatpants, like, you're a sweaty nerd, okay? And I know, because I'm a fucking sweaty nerd. I'm a sweaty nerd, okay? And my point is, those people are your customers, bro. Those people are your fucking customers. Do you know how many people actually buy tickets to Marvel movies? It is way less than you think. Way less than you think. Okay? So, to me, these are already the people that probably financially support you the most in theaters, and are so engaged with your shit despite a lot of mid-ass material over the past couple of years and lots of normies checking out, and you just kicked them in the balls while they're already struggling because Marvel is already at a weird spot. By the way, not just my opinion. I've actually talked to some other people. I should probably keep it hush-hush, not put anybody's name out there, but I've talked to some other people that are also influencers within the space, and they feel the same way. What an L. Why not actually, like, spend energy fixing yourself? Fix the fucking visual effects. Fix the shit-ass mid-stories. Like, why not spend a little bit of energy time doing that and less energy trying to stop leaks from the very people that are still going to consume your product in mass? It doesn't make any sense. It's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It is. Now, hopefully, again, it doesn't actually change that much at all. But I'm just so frustrated with how boomer out of touch a lot of these people seem to be at studios that all happen to be associated with Disney. What the fuck is going on, bruh? Like, what is happening, bruh? Let me pause and take a sip of coffee to try to calm down. So yeah, I just think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea at a time when they are making a lot of bad decisions. Just, there's no need. There's no need to, like, hold that hell, you know? And again, having said that, of course they went way too far with that Ant-Man leak. But bro, the amount of people that read that leak, probably very, very small. The amount of people that knew about that leak and it affected whether or not they'd go to see the movie, micro fucking scopic, dude. Like, I just don't understand what this is for, other than, again, like trying to like intimidate people from talking about leaks, talking about spoilers, talking about rumors. But like, again, bro, I just feel like this is fucking stupid. These are your customers, bro. These are your customers, bro. Yeah. So, wild ass story in regards to that. Okay, let's talk about Zack Snyder. You want to get real fucking weird with it? Let's talk about Zack Snyder. Let's talk about DC helping with Zack Snyder? What the fuck? Okay. So, do you know what happened, guys? Should I pull it up? Let's just pull it up. By the way, why is everything so spicy these days? It feels like every stream I do, I'm freaking the fuck out. You know? Can we get back to like just holding some dubs and celebrating some dope shit? My God. Okay, check this out. Boom. Zack Snyder. Incoming transmission, which is frozen. For some reason, I'm... What the fuck, bro? Anyway, it says in here, incoming transmission from Lord Darkseid, and it gives a date. Now, the conventional wisdom on this is that it's going to be SnyderCon. However, some people basically cyber-bullied Grace Randolph into kind of revealing some crazy shit. And, of course, it's you know, sort of vague. We're going to have to be speculative on it. But she said some wild-ass shit where she basically said, this is Warner Brothers helping Zack to move on, or like helping Zack to transition into Rebel Moon, right? And like everybody was like nobody liked that, you know? So basically nobody liked that shit, and a lot of people were, you know, as you are on the internet, rude as fuck to her on Twitter about it, and she ended up kind of taking it even further, doubling down on it and saying like she doesn't want to ruin anything. But to me, she kind of implied that, like, James Gunn might even show up at fucking SnyderCon. And I wonder how all of you would feel if James Gunn walks on stage and basically Zack Snyder, like Papa Zack himself, essentially, like, looks at you all dead ass in your face and says, I think we should all support this new Superman. That's a bold move. That's a bold move. That would be pretty wild, right? And like, look, here's my thought. I don't necessarily understand why or how this makes any goddamn sense. Because Netflix is a competitor of Warner Brothers, at least to some degree. And like, why would Zack, like, if Warner Brothers is helping Zack for SnyderCon based on some, like, Snyder Cut kind of esque type stuff or whatever, like, what? Like, what? How does that, and why would Netflix do that? Although I guess SnyderCon is not specific to Rebel Moon. SnyderCon is a celebration of Snyder's work, and a lot of his work was at DC. So perhaps it's even possible that they are trying to like extend an olive branch. Here's what I'll say on this, man. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about James Gunn. But I will say, if he manages to get some kind of a nod or some kind of an olive branch from Zack for the new movie, that would be very smart. Like, that would be pretty smart. That would be savvy. So I don't know what to expect, but I will, of course, just bring up the fact that just this 14-second clip here, which is super vague, was like trending. It was crushing on social media. And Zack, and especially Zack with anything, Snyderverse, it has a massive imprint online. It's pretty wild to see. Pretty wild to see, 100%. So there's some craziness that came in from Zack. I do hope there's some awesome stuff at Snyder Con with regards to Rebel Moon. I'm pretty excited for Rebel Moon. So, yeah, hopefully that happens, and hopefully it's going to be dope. Now, we can talk a little bit about Gunn. We'll just keep it very brief because we've already talked about this before. But, yeah, so he's going to direct Superman. So, cool. Sounds good. Hope he does a good job. What is Rebel Moon? JJ. So Rebel Moon is the next movie coming out from Zack Snyder. The reason it's kind of hyped is, number one, because it's Zack. But number two, this was a movie he pitched to Lucasfilm. So he pitched this movie as a Star Wars movie. And it's like a weird version of like Seven Samurai or whatever. And she was like, nah. By she, I mean KK. So Zack then took the movie and reworked it, and now it's going to be like his original IP on Netflix. So it's pretty cool. Guess we'll see what Gunn does. Sheesh! Gunn's wife will be starring as Lois and Clark. Wouldn't it be crazy if Gunn's wife had a post-credit scene for Shazam? Wouldn't it be crazy if there was just more Harcourt cameos at the end of Shazam? It's so wild. Yeah. We don't need another Seven Samurai copy. Okay, noted. I'll adjust my opinion accordingly. Zack Snyder flopped. That simple. Wow. Zack Snyder haters. That's pretty wild. I barely have the energy to fight with you guys today. So you win this round, Zack haters. Rebel Moon watch party? Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe. You mean when she has a post-credit scene? I mean, no, Josh, bring the heat. I mean, look, here's the thing, dude. Like, if you can't appreciate Zack Snyder and what the man does with movie films, there's like nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you. It's like that friend that you've tried to get to stop like over and over again of you know, doing fucking crazy shit downtown and ruining his life. You know what I'm talking about. But you just know, like, they got that look in their eye, like they're gone already, you know? So you can't, I don't want to waste a lot of energy, like, trying to talk to people like that. If you can't appreciate the man, Tony Gilroy, I don't know what to do for you. I love Tony Gilroy. One of my favorite Tony Gilroy film is Michael Clayton. It's fucking dope, dude. Really interesting. Really, really good movie. He's just not a good pick for Star Wars. Snyder is to blood as Cameron is to water. I don't know what that means, but yes. I don't know what that means, but yes. I agree. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys want to chat about, or should we just get into the Q&A? What am I having for dinner? I'm not sure. I had some riblets from ye old Applebee's. They were pretty good. Jesus for Kuzkala! And I know that's not how to say it, but you know. Theory cried again in his watch party. Yeah, I saw that. What part did he cry in Bad Batch? I that's what he said online. I just didn't know if that was real or not. Didn't know if it was real. Ha! The Venom leaks? Yeah, they are kind of wild. And I do think they're true, actually, too. You know what else is kind of crazy? This is actually, like, really hype. Is Harrison Ford actually apparently is in Atlanta right now. and they're going to start shooting Captain America or Thunderbolts really, really soon. Maybe both. Bad Batch was bad? I mean, I thought it was all right. It was all right. Mace Windu reveal? Bro, there ain't no Mace Windu reveal. What are you talking about, bro? Cap 4 now, Thunderbolts in June. Sick. Sick. Oh, he cried over Fat Windu? That was not Fat Windu, bro. Yeah, sort of Star Force 1. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I think it's just like brand damage, bro. And like, man, I gotta tell you, like, it's been tough because I know I can get like really negative and like really fiery about these sort of things. So I've kind of just been trying to like not go hard, even though it seems like I do like every stream. But it's a really frustrating time right now, dude. Like, these brands that I fucking love, Marvel and Star Wars, are just really being mistreated. I think that's the most benign way to say it. They're being mistreated. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, bro. It's fucking tough. Missed opportunity to have Babu in the Pabu episode of Bad Batch. That's actually true. That is actually true. All right, here's what we're going to do. We'll go through the Q&A. We'll go through some of the member chat, super chats, and then we'll just hang in chat for a little bit. Because I also want to talk about my new channel. Because I'm starting a new channel. I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. I can't take it anymore! Play Counter-Strike right now? Oh, okay. Let's do it. Let's play Counter-Strike. All right, let's go over some of these chats, see what you guys are thinking. Elijah, thank you so much for the 5-man, says, turned Coruscant into super corporate Disneyland. Reeked. Zero essence of how George presented the planet. George shouldn't have sold. Breaks my heart. So, I don't know, man. I felt like Coruscant was respected in the show. Maybe you're talking specifically about the, like, circusy scene with, like, the one rock. And, like, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Elijah says, I love the story between the two Imperials, but the setting and props and music of Coruscant felt like a Disneyland Park Galaxy Edge extension. So, actually, kind of interesting on that note, I had the thought when he goes into what's essentially the workhouse, right, which is basically people that get out on work release, his little room. And again, it reminded me of the fucking hotel that they want you to spend $5,000 to spend a couple of nights at. Why do they keep doing this? They made the prison shit in Andor look like the hotel, and then they made his fucking workhouse like you're gonna pay $5,000 to like basically stay at the workhouse. Holy shit. Anyways, moving right along. Logan Sharp says, I think the problem with Mando Season 3 not pulling in crazy numbers is that a lot of people just don't even know that the show is already released. Yeah, that seems to be a theory that a lot of people have. And maybe, I mean, I damn sure knew when the show was coming out. But again, I guess I do, you know, the Den of Nerds and nerd theory and things of that nature. But I don't know. Like, but let me ask you this. How much of that is on marketing and how much of that is on 2 years away? 2+ years away. And I know John loves to like rebut that in interviews and be like, well, Book of Boba Fett was kind of like, no, dude, it was 2 years away. It's probably a little bit of both, right? Probably a little bit of both. Jason says, sorry that you got to do content that way, but at least Mando's good. We'll watch your content regardless. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, look, it is what it is. It's a part of the YouTube game, and it's fine. You know, honestly, the thing is, the reason it's really frustrating is because I have, like, other really cool Marvel videos that I know would actually perform well, too. And so I'm at this place where I'm like, well, why am I then taking all day to try to make a fucking Mando breakdown when it's not going to do the numbers that this other thing would, you know? So it's like, Lord Vito says, did you know the word none is just letter N doing a cartwheel? Let me think about that. Wow. That's true. Damn. Quote of the day. Matei says, off topic, but I saw Shazam 2, and while I have admittedly smoked a lot of Zazam, it was an incredibly good time. Top 5 DCE movie for me. Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad you had a really good time. That's terrific. I'll never watch it. It'll come in at the lowest box office of the entire DCU. It's over. I'm literally never going to watch that shit. Never going to watch that shit. I talked to some other people about this, and you know why? You know why? Because I'm fucking toxic, and I'm fucking stubborn, and I said I'll never watch it, so I'm never going to watch it. To this day, never watched Morbius. Never. And I never will. And I never will. But Matei, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Grant says, thought the writing for this episode was awful. Ilya's dialogue was unbearable, and the Pershing part was way too long. Wish we got more Mando. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree that the writing in this episode was bad, particularly the dialogue? Let it out. Tell me the truth. No, no, yes. Get him! Get Carlos! Get that guy too! Hard, yes? Wow. Worse than Andor. So let's explore that a little bit. How many of you... Okay, how about this? I'm going to say it like this. If you watching Andor... how do I word this? How do I word this shit? I just want to word it like you guys are wrong and bad and put one into the chat if you agree. So just do that. But also, if watching Andor has made it so you judge the Mandalorian more harshly, maybe put a 3 into the chat. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, did Andor and you liking it ruin some other Star Wars for you? Mando! Damn, there's actually a good bit of 3s. That's wild. So should I try to make like the point I was making when Andor was first coming out and saying that it was going to like divide the brand, split the brand, and it was actually ultimately going to end up being bad for the brand? Should I try to retread that ground and make that nuanced argument again? Or should I just call all of you horrible, toxic buttholes? Moving right along. Grant says, by the way, I love your content. Been watching since the beginning, mostly for Marvel. Really cool. You, in theory, linked up. Love him, too. You two are great. Thank you very much, Grant. I really appreciate that. Luke Bro says, I'm casual after watching Mando Season 3, Episode 3. I'm regretting even giving Star Wars a chance. Oh, no! Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn. JJ Lamone says, if the numbers don't go up, I'll shave my head. I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. D Murdoch says, just joined. You talk about Marvel spoilers subreddit yet? Yes, I did. I gave the absolute nuclear bomb take, and everybody hated it. Prev, a.k.a. Tipsy Vader, says, you know Bo wants the Din D. Jarin. This is the way. True. Double true. Christopher says, Hater Inc. on YouTube has monetized hating on Disney, and they are very loud. That has to be having an impact on Disney's content reception overall. Let's explore that for a second. Let's explore that. Let me think of how to word this. Put a 1 into the chat if you're a toxic haterade type of person and now you hate Star Wars more, and that's just what it is. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, next one. Okay, Jesus. See, and this, you know what's funny? It's kind of because it's obviously we're having a good time and we're like joking around, but like this is the shit that Disney doesn't understand. Like they can't wrap their fucking head around like what the internet actually is and how people interact on it and like all this other shit, and they want to act like it's all like you're fucking rude, don't say that, and it's like, hey, fuck you, Disney, 50,000 likes, like, you know, like they don't understand the shit at all. They're like 6 steps behind. It's fucking stupid. Okay. Anyway, you know what? I think I've actually made the point. Let's keep going. Ryan Baldy One Kenobi says, I don't want to be that guy, maybe a little bit, but could these consecutive Star Wars L's push KK out before her summer retirement or whatever it is? No, I don't think so. I mean, it would have to be really, really bad. Now, let's say Mando was a movie and Mando came out and like performed like Ant-Man, then I think Bob Iger might literally like go to her office and roundhouse kick her in the head and drag her out of the office. Like, I think that could actually happen. But because Disney Plus is so Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, like you don't really get to see the data and they can even deny the Samba shit, I don't know. It's also like not strictly bad enough, I think. Like, let me explain. Is right now with Star Wars that much worse than Star Wars 1 year ago, 2 year ago, 3 year ago, 4 year, 5 year ago? Star Wars was only ever really crushing it right up until The Last Jedi. Like literally right up until The Last Jedi. Star Wars was crushing it. Fan base awesome. Magic was there. People were like, let's fucking go. And by the way, you know, regardless of how you feel about The Last Jedi, you kind of can't deny that that's when it all fell apart. Right? So, is KK really doing that much worse than she was 6 months ago? No. A year ago? No. 2 years ago? No. 3 years ago? No. Because she's been pretty fucking terrible the whole damn time. So, like, how do you as Lucasfilm or Disney, really it would be Disney, how would you then make the case that, like, oh, Kathleen, you really did it this time. You really gotta go. She'd literally, and by the way, she'd actually have the right to look at him and be like, bitch, what are you talking about? I've been doing the same thing I've been doing for years. Pissing off the fans, putting my foot in my mouth, firing directors, and pretending like I'm hitting nothing but 3-pointers. That's what it is. Jesus Christ. Moving right along. Stezo for Life says, it's not just Mando or Star Wars. Lucasfilm is in a slide. Willow is an L. It just got canceled. All I can say is Indy 5 better not be mid or might have more house cleaning ahead. Ooh, yeah. Now that is kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting. I think Indy 5, I mean, look, a lot of people I think are hyped on Indy 5. You know, the general consensus on it, I think, is actually pretty good. So, I don't know. It would shock me. I feel like Indy 5 might actually be one last decent movie under her. And then she'll sail off into the sunset. And I feel like even if that movie makes like $600-700 million, like that's enough of a dub. You know what I mean? Like that's enough of a dub that they can kind of be like, yo, let's do it. Yeah, we crushed it. Indiana Jones is back. You know? So we'll see. I think the bigger risk and the sort of more interesting movie to discuss as far as her legacy will be this next movie, which at least partially was created under her reign. So like even if she leaves at the end of this year, she will still have developed the writer's room, hired the director, and essentially set Star Wars on the path that it's about to be on with the Lindelof sequel trilogy era movie and Taika's movie, whatever that ends up being. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, I don't think I don't think she'll be fired for any of that. It's like weird that she's in the place that she's in, but like it's a brain pretzel. It's a really fucking confusing thing, to be honest with you. Jace, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Andrew says, need a Marvel movie outside of the MCU like Batman. Some people think that would work and kind of cure up some of the fatigue. I get you. Elijah says, if someone leaked the dialogue of your whole comic before you got to release it, how would you navigate that? So, look, that's a fair question, but like, let me like just really fucking answer that for you. If I had, because you always have problems. You always have problems. As a business, as a company, you always have problems. If I had the level of problem where my comic was so interesting to people, so prevalent within the zeitgeist of pop culture, that damn near 1 million people followed a Reddit account based on leaks and then somehow got their hands on an entire script of one of my comic books, that would be a problem that I would fucking pray for. That would be an incredible problem to have. So what would I do? Probably just be like, oh, wait till you see the issue. Shit's going to be lit. And also thank God that I was at the level of success that I was at. It's rarefied air. So I get where your question is at. I understand what you're saying. I'm sure from the creative perspective that stings a little bit. But it's like what George said, okay? George Martin, he wrote this series of books, and it was all predicated on this one big secret. That Jon is the Song of Ice and Fire. He's a Targaryen and a Stark. People figured it out. I don't even know. Maybe like book 2, book 3 or some shit. And yeah, like he was probably bummed that then everybody figured it out and everybody knew where it was going. But he didn't like decide to change it or say fuck off to the fans or whatever. He continued to do his thing and he executed the way that he wanted to do. Like, I just think you keep it moving, man. I think you just keep it moving. And at the end of the day, that's a really small portion of people as far as the general audience is concerned. And again, it's your customer base. It is your most, I would argue, maybe the most hardcore customers you have is the people in that subreddit. Graham says, yeah. Thank you. Meet Norma says, what's good, Josh? Have we discussed Hasselhoff returning as Nick Fury in Secret Wars? Will we get Evans as Cap, Torch on the screen at the same time? Those are both great questions. I don't know. Maybe. That'd be kind of fun. Be kind of fun. I wonder how you guys would feel about that. But yeah, that would be cool, man. And I say, why not go for the other Nick Fury? I think that'd be fun. I think that would be really fun. Mariana says, honest opinion, I think you in theory crap on Deborah Chow too much. Joby Harold, Michelle Rejwan, and KK are the real villains. I love you guys. Or I still love you guys. Thank you so much. Maybe that's fair. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I definitely think Joby Harold probably the biggest problem within that entire bunch. How much culpability do you guys think Deborah Chow has for Kenobi? What do you guys think? Think she has all the responsibility? Wow. 5 of 10? At least 80%? I don't know, man. That's a very, very tough one. I feel like the director does have a lot of responsibility. But I also acknowledge that, like, she's, in this instance, more of a hired gun. So you have to understand that, like, this story had already taken shape as a film. It was going to be a film. Then it was split up and they wrote it as a show. Then they rewrote it as a show. Deborah's hired after all of that. She didn't have the pitch for Kenobi. She didn't have the vision for Kenobi. She's a hired gun director. So, you know, I kind of get where Mariana is at. Here's the flip side of that, though. Here's the flip side of that argument. Deborah's also the only director on the entire show. Deborah was hired as a name. So I think as a name and as the person that's directing the whole thing, I would have probably asserted myself a little bit more and made sure that that product was better. So it's kind of tough, right? I get both sides. Kyle says, is it possible Lucasfilm will edit episodes together or pull plot points from reshoots or other shows when the original final edit isn't going well, so they'll throw in a banger, like Book of Boba Fett Episode 5? Huh? No, I don't think so, Kyle. I think those episodes in Book of Boba Fett, as crazy as it sounds, was designed that way. It was designed as a Boba Fett show that was going to tell the next chapter of Din and Baby Yoda's story with Luke, and then finish off Boba's story. I think that's how it was designed. Like, I don't think they were like randomly like, hey, what if we shot a bunch of Mando stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's what it was. My brother is a sweaty Star Wars nerd, but waiting to binge watch The Mandalorian Season 3. Interesting, Jordan. Thank you so much. Robert V with a 10 spot, very generous man, says, I really don't get how Disney makes some of their decisions. Why spend energy on things that are not going to be helpful to the fandom? Attack Reddit. Focus on creating good content. Keep Josh spicy. Yeah, I tend to agree, man. Like, I get some people don't like leaks, so they're like, oh, this is great and all that sort of stuff. I totally get it. But again, I just think that when you lay it out the way I laid it out, it's obviously not a good look. RG says, here's my question. Does the fact that Mandalorian Season 3 first episode was the shortest of the premieres have anything to do with the numbers? Also, we'll be interested to see if it grows. So they certainly will affect the Nielsen numbers, because Nielsen does like minutes watched, which is interesting. But Samba is counting households that are watching it. So no, the length of the episode doesn't affect it, not inherently. And I think it'll go up too. Anthony says, I feel like the set and characters and even the shop flying scenes all look too fake, like made with toy Grogu and a really bad green screen. Interesting. I don't really agree, actually, but that's interesting. Does anybody else feel like the show just doesn't look as good, like that the visual effects are down? Kind of curious. Anybody else? I haven't really noticed anything that I don't like visually in the show so far. Even the puppets are on point, you know what I mean? Boom. It never looked good. Interesting. Okay. Bro, the episode has me scared. Mad cringe. The writing. My cat actually looked up and stopped licking his butt on certain scenes. Holy shit. I was like a canary in the coal mine, dude. We know when Greet Pack's cat is no longer licking its own buttocks, we've severely dropped the ball over at Star Wars. The Exodus says, called the bow/living waters. But they jumped right to where I thought it would eventually lead. Now I'm hoping for Thrawn to supplant Gideon. Yeah, they did actually kind of run right into that plot. Like, yeah, I gotta admit, some of the story pacing is a little bit strange, and it does seem like this season is not so much about Din, right? It's kind of interesting. John's on a Steak says, if you Disney/Warner Brothers, etc., offered you mad money to shill, would you? I say this because shilling to me is the only reason some of these influencers get so much clout. Shilling is more toxic than leaks, in my opinion. So there's no checks, man. There's no checks. They don't fucking cut checks like that. But they'll butter you up. They'll bring you to premieres. They'll give you access to stuff that could perhaps help you get more clout, clicks, and attention. To be honest, yeah. There's there's a lot of that going on. However, there are some people that get access to all of that stuff and will still be honest about stuff and still talk their shit and everything, right? So it's like a hard, like I would say, like E-Man, like Emmanuel from E-Man's movie reviews. Like, he's at the premieres, you know, he's getting access, he's doing his thing. But then, like, when it comes time to talk his shit, or when he's talking about a movie or he's talking about recast T'Challa, like, he's going to be authentic, he's going to be real. So, yeah, there are no checks, dude. Like, there's no shilling to that degree. And if they offered me a bunch of money, like, if that was real and they offered me a bunch of it, no, I would obviously not say yes to that. I don't even, like, associate myself with Disney at all anymore. I'm not interested in going to any of their stuff. I've even been offered screeners, and I've said no. I just want zero actual association between myself and Disney, because I don't ever want to be in a compromised position where they're like, hey, man, if you don't do this, that, second, or the third, like, you're not going to get this, that, second, and the third. It's like, no. Like, we're good, you know? But that's just me. Other people, they can do their thing. It's all good. Ryan says, I hate that they brought Grogu back. It's stupid. Maybe. Meister 420 says, you literally stole my take. Was going to say the Coruscant scene from both Andor and Mando show the difference between two shows. One has magic, one not. Andor feels in the same galaxy, but not Star Warsy. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Appreciate the love, man. Duncan says with a 5 spot, thought the Pershing stuff was long, but appreciate the larger stuff they're setting up. Just glad they didn't go the MCU way and give him a whole show. That's actually a fair point, right? The Pershing show, or the Pershing holiday special, right? Yeah, that's a fair point, man. Again, I liked the episode. I actually thought it was really cool. Kevin says, how much do you think Feige is involved in this lawsuit stuff? I feel like he most likely doesn't care too much, and it's more Disney pushing it. Oh, no. I wish that was the case. And if I had heard anything to that degree, I would say it. I would report it. But I've heard the exact opposite. I've heard that he personally hates leaks and spoilers, which, again, I think is just so stupid. It's his prerogative to feel that way. I'd probably feel differently if I were him. But yeah, unfortunately not. That is absolutely something he doesn't like. And by the way, think about how all the actors talk about Feige. Have you ever seen an actor or a director say something like, oh, I better shut up, or Kevin Feige's going to get me? Have you ever seen that? Heard that? No? Anybody? Bueller? You ever seen that? You think that doesn't come from anything, any place? You think they're making it up, pulling it out of their butt? No. It's because that's the attitude. That's the culture. Gummy says, hey, Josh, just wanted to show some love from someone who grew up in Pittsburgh. Keep up the great Star Wars vids. Have a nice night, my man. Thank you so much, man. We're going to keep making some awesome videos for sure. And even some Star Wars videos. Just not going to break down Mando anymore. Brian Lara with the 10 spot. Appreciate you, man. Says, Nerd Vengeance for life. Thank you so much. Vito says with a $5. We ride together. We die together. Nerd Vengeance for life. Appreciate it, man. I really do. Bobby says, I honestly think the episode was great, besides them sucking on space pops. Oh, boy. Did y'all like the space pops? I actually thought they were pretty cool. Strange Marvel Theories. Welcome back to being a Nerd Avenger. All right, let's chill like 15, 20 more minutes. Let's just hang out a little bit. And we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But I am also making another YouTube channel. That's right. And I'm thinking about calling it Today on Internet. And I think it's going to be something like a social commentary / news channel where I talk about what went down on the internet. Yeah. Yep. I'm doing it. thought a lot about it, toyed with the idea. And I'm still going to do Den of Nerds, obviously. I'm still going to be doing our streams and everything like that. But I feel the urge to pivot a little bit and get into some other stuff because, look, I love Marvel stuff. I love Star Wars stuff. But it's been weird covering it over the past year. And I'm really concerned and I'm worried about, like, where some of this stuff is headed with, like, Marvel and Star Wars. And so I would just want to pivot a little bit and get into some other stuff. We'll start the channel off really slow, see if I dig it, see if there's an audience for it. And if there is an audience for it, I may well pivot a little bit more. Like, we'll see. You know? I'm also, Michael Smith, thanks so much. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. So I'm thinking about making it pretty comedy-based. Making it pretty, silly and fun. But yeah, mostly going over, like, for instance, like, if I were making a video today, it might be something about how, like, Chat GTP just turned all humans into the people. What's that one Pixar movie where they're all fat and they're all in the chairs? Which one was that? WALL-E. Yeah, so basically we're all headed towards WALL-E now because of AI. They just turned on Chat GTP 4, so I'm really interested in that, and I think I could make a really funny video that's also really informative about, like, what Chat GTP is, how crazy GTP 4 is, how crazy GTP 5 is going to be, stuff like that. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, it's legitimately crazy. I think you guys would be blown away if you knew what was going on. So, yeah, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. GPT, not GTP? GPT. What did I say? I should probably get it right before I launch an entire other YouTube channel. Yeah. So, I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool. Like, I'm not going to, like, put a ton into it, to be honest with you, because I still have a lot to do with the upkeep of, like, these channels and streaming and the comic books and stuff like that. But I thought a lot about it, man, and I was just like, nah, like, now's the time. For some of you guys that have, like, kind of been with me for a while, there was a time where I shifted into streaming. And I shifted into streaming because I just felt like a turning of the tides a little bit, and I was like, I think, like, streaming is, like, the way. And I'm feeling that again a little bit, where, like, my gut is really telling me, like, put some of the stuff you have learned about making YouTube videos into, like, a new project that is less dependent on fucking Disney, to be honest with you. You know? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Elijah says, new channel sounds dope. I feel like it would complement your strengths, like comedy, mild trolling, insight, communication. People value your takes. Thank you very much, Elijah. I appreciate that. I think it's going to be fun. And we're still, look, of course I'm still going to do the Den of Nerds. I don't think I'll ever stop doing the Den of Nerds because I fucking love nerdy stuff, man. You know? But it's possible that I could make another channel pop off in a really interesting way and put some kind of more interesting, story-driven pieces of content out there. Could be really cool. How far along is the kid? He's 7 months old, if that's what you mean. I don't really know what that question means, but... Den of Takes. Nah, I think I'm going to literally just call it Today on Internet. Now come in and say something like, Today on Internet. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, I saw that too, Jason. That's actually really exciting. I hope it's true. There's a rumor that The Acolyte is going to be 8 episodes that are all at least 60 minutes. Whew. That would be great, dude. And I hope that the Acolyte is sort of like billed as the show, like the HBO show that many people thought like Andor was, but like with like Jedi and Force and Sith and stuff like that. It could be huge if it actually goes that way. So I'm hopeful on that for sure. RJ Phyllis says, diversify, smart move. Josh, we're all here for you. Love the Mando episode so far. Kiddo and I just reworked our MTG cube, drafting it for tonight. Nerd Adventures for Life. Appreciate that love, man. Dude, cubes are so fun. And I especially like how you can make your own cube. Like my one buddy has a cube that has like a bunch of banned cards, like in Commander, but you can use them obviously if you draft them in that cube. So it's like really cool, some of the dynamic stuff you can do with the cube. Big fan of The Rock Jedi. Yeah, me too. What was his name? Babu News. Just got a copyright. I know, right? If you compare the first 3 episodes of Season 2 to Season 3, it stacks up pretty equal considering one of them was a whole frog lady ice spider episode. What do you think? Yeah, totally. I really like this season. I really think they're doing some good stuff. Geode! How could I forget the homie's name? He's a true OG. Geode. The OG. You should have Babu as a sidekick of your new channel. I could do something like that. I've been thinking about it a little bit. I've actually been thinking about doing a white button-up shirt and maybe even, and I know this sounds crazy, maybe even a bow tie. Yeah, that's right. I've been thinking about some ways to kind of spice it up. Because I want it to be, I want to go, like, in the same way that I go kind of crazy on streams right now, and I get, like, really, like, crazy and, I think, funny. I want to kind of bring that same energy to this channel. Go bald? Oh, incredible idea. Great idea. Throw in suspenders? I don't know. That feels a little too much. That feels like a little bit too much. Has an intimacy director? That's interesting. That is interesting. So what's the new channel? I'm probably just going to call it Today on Internet. Jesus Trinity. Wear a bow tie and a white button-up shirt with the arm sleeves ripped off. I mean, there is an idea. There is an idea. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be cool, though. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to, like, talk about some different things, you know? And I think ultimately it'll probably even refresh my ability to work on Den of Nerd stuff. Because, like, man, it can become a little crazy when, like, every day you're waking up and being like, okay, what's going on with Star Wars? What's going on with Marvel? How do I fucking make content about this? What do people want to talk about? Et cetera, et cetera. And it becomes a little, I don't know. Like, it kind of sucks some of the creativity out of it a little bit. So. Yeah, do the 1930s news anchor voice the whole time. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. You can say it tedious. It's not, I mean, in a sense, it's tedious. I mean, look, I genuinely, here's what's crazy. I actually love making videos. I love streaming, and I still love Marvel, and I still love Star Wars. But there's so much bullcrap between me just liking it, loving all this stuff, and like what it actually takes to like be successful on YouTube. So like, for instance, like why I still don't understand even the release strategy of the videos and stuff, the shows from Lucasfilm's perspective. Then I have to spend like all day like watching the show, making content about it. It just gets blocked over and over again. Like that's bananas. And then if the show or the video doesn't do well because of stuff that has nothing to do with me, right? Like a little bit of Star Wars apathy, less recommended views, people like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's this whole different side of it that has nothing to do with me. That's a little like it's frustrating. I, though, love the process. I love streaming. Like, I genuinely love getting on here live with you guys and, like, talking about this sort of stuff. Even when we're acting crazy, even if we're getting, like, really wild. Like, I genuinely love it. If, like, I feel energetic. I feel good. I love doing nerd theory. Like, I really do. Like, I love it. The chit-chats, the fucking memes, Luke Soka, my shirtless pic, theory crying memes. Like, the whole thing. The relationship between the chat and us, it's great. Like, it's great. But I do kind of feel, like, genuinely compelled to try some other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Is this going to affect the Ahsoka watch parties? Oh, yeah. I mean, guys, like, I don't think I'm doing watch parties anymore, period. Like, maybe I would do an Ahsoka watch party for the finale, possibly. Now, it depends because we're so far away from that, right? We are so far away from that. But I really don't. Like, I can enjoy Ahsoka, and I think it's going to be dope as hell. And if it became so big and I was excited to talk about it and there were no barriers and I could just, like, make videos about it, not get copywritten, and they would, like, do very well because the interest was just there for the show, hell yeah, I would do it. But I don't know at this point. I kind of, and the wildest thing is that I love this season of Mando. Like, I genuinely think it's fucking awesome, dude. You know? What about Secret Invasion and Loki? No watch parties. Am I all right? Dude, I'm all right. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm good, actually. Like, I feel good about it, but I'm also kind of in this state of, like you gotta, like, think about it from my perspective. Like, definitely a frustrating day. Blocked. You know, just, like, it's been a frustrating day, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to fucking waste my time anymore. So you kind of have to, like, just make a decision and move on. So part of me is like, nah, like, it's all good. You're actually doing really good numbers when I'm not trying to force the Mando breakdown into the thing just because I like Mando and I used to do breakdowns. So, like, I'm good, actually. And I'm excited about the possibility. You guys know, if you've been watching me for any meaningful amount of time, you guys know my interests go well beyond the nerdy realm. I love nerdy shit, and I genuinely think it's awesome. But I also think about all kinds of other stuff. So there's this, like, itch that I feel like I haven't scratched, and I've had it for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Long time. No, it's not even that, Veed, because I was positive on it. I was positive on the show. They just blocked it because I used a clip, and they have all these bots out there trying to, like, grab clips. It's crazy. You know? What shows from other services you watching? Ted Lasso started again today. Whoop whoop. Yeah, I don't really watch Ted Lasso. We're watching some anime. I'll watch some more anime when some of the seasons come back. Yeah, I don't really think I'm watching too much right now, to be honest with you. Like, we were watching Inside Man a little bit. We just watched Creed, because I want to watch Creed, and then I want to watch the second one, and then I want to watch the third one. Really excited for John Wick, Chapter 4. It's apparently incredible. But no, I haven't really been watching shows right now. No, but they saw your negativity in the past. You made the list. No, I don't think that's what it is. Like, I genuinely don't think that's what it is, because they've been getting Paul from Heavy Spoilers too, and he's, like, you know, generally pretty positive on a lot of their stuff. He has never made waves with the Star Wars fandom, other than, you know, a few leaks here and there. Conspiracy talk on the new channel? Maybe. I'm kind of, like, just thinking about, like, what was the craziest shit that people were talking about on the internet that day. If they're talking about a conspiracy because something happened, like, the JFK stuff gets released or certain redacted files, et cetera, and that's what people are talking about, hell yeah, we'll comment on it. But I don't want to do like a conspiracy theory channel. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I mean, it's kind of really in the early stages, so we'll see. I know how you feel about The Last of Us, but I would have genuinely loved to have heard your input on it. It's so good. Yeah, no, I get you, man. I get you. I follow certain people in spaces, and sometimes I'm like, man, I would wonder what they would think about this. For sure. But yeah, again, you guys know how I feel about it. It's just, there's just no attachment there for me, you know? Ooh, this is kind of interesting. The MCU Direct is reporting that Michael Waldron has reportedly renewed his overall deal with Marvel Studios. Let's get it, boys. I know everybody, all of you Multiverse Madness haters, stay mad. Stay mad. Do I think Dragon Ball will come back this year? I do. Thoughts on Superman and Lois? Great show. I'm behind on it, but it's great. Absolutely hated Mando's episode 3. Music and dialogue didn't feel like Star Wars. Damn. Sorry to hear that. I thought it was pretty chill. Philosophy of Journalism, AMA with Jedi Facilitator. What? I don't quite understand what you're talking about, Mike. What are my thoughts on thoughts? Oh, man, that's such an interesting question. So I think you have, what do you have? Like, something like 10,000 unique thoughts a day or something like that. And they're just kind of constantly happening. And I think a lot of those thoughts are reactive. And I think when you ask a question, even internally, your mind can probably come up with the answer, or at least an answer, and it almost is like always having a conversation with itself. And so I think that there's all these thoughts that are just like flying through all of our minds, and our general focus is the thought that follows the thoughts. And if you've ever studied Zen, okay, and if you've ever spent some meaningful time trying to understand the secrets of Zen, there's like this allegory of like all these bulls that are coming out of a like a pen, but all of their tails are like tied together and will never actually separate from the pen itself. There's another one that's like about you looking at yourself as the moon. I forget what that's called. I think they call it direct pointing in Zen. Let me look this up real quick for you. Let's get weird with it. Let's get really weird with it. I don't know if I can find this because, like, unfortunately, a lot of this Zen stuff is like, it's not like meme-y weird. It's like weird. And I wonder if I can actually get probably going to be difficult to get. But if you look up the concept of direct pointing within Zen, it's a really interesting look at that exact question, my thoughts on thoughts. Check it out. Michael Smith says, hey, Josh, I understand what you're talking about for sure. Maybe you're not worried about Star Wars and Marvel right now. It's what's coming next. Yes, I think that's kind of it. And frankly, I think Marvel itself will still, even if, like, let's say a lot of the Marvel stuff this year is of lesser quality. Let's say people don't like Guardians 3. Let's say people don't like the Marvels. And let's say the shows are like, okay, and like, you know, mid to good. I still think going into next year, going into the year after that, Marvel has cooler and cooler plans, bigger and bigger ideas, and I still think they'll be able to generate a lot of hype. And I think we as a Marvel fan base are still going to have a tremendous amount of fun. But there is also like one of these variant realities that could split off the sacred timeline, in which Marvel begins adapting some really weird ideas, practices, and ways of interacting with the fans that could put a serious damper on a lot of the fun that we're having. So I just see it as a possibility. Josh, you should do Den of Zen. I would love to hear you teach Zen right after yelling about James Gunn for 2 hours. Absolutely. Dude, that's so funny to me, though, because I think that's a misinterpretation of like what Zen is. So I think that you probably have never studied Zen or done any like actually looking at it. And you think of Zen as just being like docile and like emotionless, right? But that's not what Zen is at all. And like, for instance, one of the things that you'll find if you actually study Zen is that a lot of the Zen masters would actually do practical jokes on each other and do like really weird stuff because they actually wanted them to break and get really mad about things in the real world because it was like a really great juxtaposition of like that more at peace Zen state to like remember and be told that you are still a human susceptible to all these things that bother you is Zen. You know? But yeah, I know that the like sort of brochure version of Zen is just being like calm and always docile or whatever, but that's not what it is. Yeah, sorry, Zack. How much of a role do I think he'll have in season 2? Not a lot. But I do think he'll have an important role, but I don't think he'll have a ton of screen time. So, I mean, I already know what he is and what he's doing. I think his name is Ouroboros, actually. Although I'm not 100% sure on that. They already messed up one. If they mess up another one, I got to take a break from all that. Wait, which one are you talking about? Yeah, the snake eating itself, 100%. Will we see Thrawn at the end of Mando Season 3? I think Ahsoka. I don't think you'll see him in Mando Season 3, actually. I'm out on the MCU in theaters until Deadpool 3 at this point. Oh, no! I mean, I'm still going to check out these movies. I'm still going to see the Marvels in theaters. I'm just either going to be like, damn, that's actually pretty good. Maybe some of those reports were bullshit. Or I'll walk out and be like, damn, those reports are probably true. That shit sucked. So, we'll see. Do you think if Pedro had more FaceTime, and with his popularity right now, that would have brought more people to Mando? No. No, man. People know it's fucking Pedro, bro. All the memes, people know it's Pedro, bro. Looking forward to Loki Season 2 or Secret Invasion more? Loki. That's what I think. Will we see Chewbacca at some point? What do you mean? You mean like in Mando? I mean, maybe. It's of course possible. But they want to look at him. I mean, I'm sure that's fair. Yeah, fair. Totally fair there, Smokey. 100% hear where you're coming from. Guardians 3 will be a palate cleanser like Wakanda Forever, but it will still be ruined by the Marvels. Yeah, I mean, maybe. We'll see. I really hope Guardians 3 is really, really good. It would be devastating if that movie's not good. No, I haven't seen that Hot Ones. I would check it out, though. I like Pedro, actually. I think he's pretty good, and he's also hilarious. Did I see Soup's review on Shazam? No. But I assume he said it was all right. Right? I hope Guardians 3 is good, because if it isn't, I might just walk out before the end. Oh, no! Oh, no! Sheesh! Guys getting spicy in the chat. I'm probably going to call it there, guys. I really appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for doing a little bit of therapy with me on talking about all this crazy stuff. And again, like, just to sort of, like, close out the idea, it's weird because I love this season of The Mandalorian. I actually really think Bad Batch is killing it. And I'm happy that there's really good Star Wars content. But it's definitely frustrating to cover it. So, Prob's not going to do that as much anymore. But I'm still loving the show, man. Loving the show. Yeah. I like turtles. Good. Cool. Awesome. I'm glad you like those turtles. Yeah, for sure. I'll keep you guys up to date on the new channel. I'll probably start it next week. Come up with some like logos, some design ideas and stuff over the weekend. But still got a lot of fun ideas that I want to do on the main Den of Nerds as well. And still got some really fun stream ideas. So we're going to still keep having a good time over here. For sure. All right. I appreciate you guys. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? All I want to say is thank you. You know what the best part of this gig is? Trying not to get triggered by all of you. The jokes, the laughs, the energy. Something magic happens when I hit go live. And you guys are at least 10, maybe 11% of that magic. So thank you. I appreciate you. And we're going to keep on keeping on. The sun will shine on us again. The nerds will rise up and reign supreme. We just need Star Wars and Marvel to get their shit together. Okay. Bye-bye.